A few years ago, I started to get really into traveling, and I would travel on my own to some more exotic places, more unconventional places that most people my age don't necessarily go to. I noticed something really interesting when I started to travel and when I started to enjoy these life experiences. I had a friend who is a number of years older than me, and she would start to get critical. She would be criticizing my traveling. She didn't really understand why I was so interested in traveling, and especially to some exotic places like New Zealand, Southeast Asia. I've done an African safari, and she was actually quite angry and somewhat hostile towards me when she was pretty much giving me crap about my traveling. At the time, I literally had no idea what was going on. Like, seriously, what does me traveling have anything to do with you? And why is this person getting angry at me for traveling the world? It made no sense to me. Later on, I learned exactly what was going on. And it's something that I want you to be aware of and prepared for. And that is, whenever you're doing something that is out of the ordinary and that 95% of people around you are not doing, you're gonna get some criticism and heat and even hate. And this is especially true from our friends and family. And I'll explain a little bit more in this video. My name is Nancy DaCosta, and welcome to my channel where we talk about personal development, success, and living an out of the ordinary life. Before we get into why people hate on you, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube. It really helps me out a lot. And of course, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Okay, so let's get into why people hate on you for being successful. Here's the cold, hard truth about human nature. It's whenever you're doing something that is out of the ordinary, when it's unusual and not what most people around you are doing, and you're doing it well, people are actually going to start hating on you. For example, with my traveling, when I started to travel the world, I would take pictures, post them on Facebook, talk about my upcoming travels. My friend, who was getting hostile at me for traveling, which made no sense at the time, what was really going on, and this is something that I was unaware of at the time, so it actually bothered me, was that my actions, what I was sharing, was in a way highlighting to her the things that she wasn't doing in that area of her life. And when people get triggered, honestly, most people lash out. Most people are not aware of these ideas. And the reason why I'm telling this story and actually talking about this is that when a lot of people, when they start to do new things, when they start to travel, or when they start a business, or when they do anything, when they go on a weight loss regime and they're doing things that most people around them are not doing, and they start to get this criticism, a lot of people honestly freak out. I mean, it's just human nature. It's why are people, like, for example, it's like, why are people getting mad at me for traveling? Or why are people who, they've been supportive up until this point, why aren't my friends and family, why aren't they happy for me for doing these things? And the truth of the matter is that whenever you're doing something unusual and you're doing it well, people are actually gonna hate on you. It's kind of a sad fact about human nature. You would think that if you're doing something really cool and you're getting good at it and you're being successful in that area, that people would admire you and respect you. But the truth of the matter is most people are actually gonna hate you. Now, there isn't a magic wand to overcome this. I'm not recommending that you start to get all evangelical about why they're hating on you, or pointing out to them the truth, which is really that they're not willing to look at their own flaws and instead they're projecting their stuff onto you. I'm not recommending that you talk about these things to these people, because the truth of the matter is they are scared to look at their own flaws. They don't want to admit outwardly that they're insecure in some areas of their life, or no one's ever even gonna say that. Like, these people, they don't want to look at those aspects of themselves. These are areas of their life that they don't like. And this is also, it's a human phenomena, it's human nature. Most people are unaware of this. They're not aware that when someone is doing something really cool and they're getting jealous, what that means is that they're being triggered and this is reflecting something to them that they themselves are not doing. Most people are simply unaware of this phenomena. So instead of what they do is they get angry, they get critical, they start saying things about you, they start talking behind your back, they start saying things to you to get you to doubt yourself. And by the way, they're not even conscious of this. Like 99% of people are not even conscious of their own psychology. They're really just too insecure to watch you or anyone else succeed in an area of life better than they do. Many people need to tear you down in order to feel better about themselves. It really is not about you at all. It's not personal. It can actually be quite shocking to see some people's reactions when a certain area of your life starts to take off. You'll actually start to get a lot of this criticism, or actually a lot of well-meaning advice, which is often criticism or jealousy in disguise. A lot of people even love to give their criticism in the form of words of wisdom. It makes them sound like they're actually concerned about you, that they're actually concerned about the things that you're doing, when really they're just hating on you. And this is one of the subtle ways that people hate on you that is not explicit and is actually, it's very sneaky. And it's also something to watch out for as well. Like when people say to you, only people in their 50s go on African safaris, or they say, don't you need a degree for that? Or they say, are you really wearing that? These people want to tear you down in some way, shape or form to actually justify their lameness in this area, in a particular area of life. Or some people are actually just mean-spirited and they're determined to hate you no matter what. Unfortunately, this also happens. Leading an exceptional life is actually quite triggering to many people. So I implore you to expect criticism. Expect it and be prepared for it. Another reason why you get criticized for being successful in a certain area of life is because you've worked hard to get what it is that you're working on or what you're going for, and most people aren't willing to do the work necessary to succeed in that area of life. So they criticize you and they accuse you of being lucky and that your success in that area was random. Most people, when you ask them, will say that they want the good life, but very few are actually willing to do the work that it takes to get the good life or get a success in an area of life. So when they actually see you succeed in a certain area of life that they haven't worked for, they haven't been making a focus in their own lives, they get critical, they get triggered. And in order to keep themselves safe, in order to keep them in their little bubble that keeps them the way that they are, instead of being happy for you and trying to learn from your success in that area, they instead write it off as you getting lucky at something. The truth is, people are intimidated by success. They're intimidated by watching you or watching other people doing things that are really cool, but not very common. So next time that someone starts hating on you, especially if it's your friends and family, understand that what's really going on is that your willingness to go for it, your willingness to be awesome at something is actually casting a light on them and their insecurities, and that it's actually their problem, not yours. Don't take it personally. Don't let it stop you. Keep going. A lot of really successful people will even argue that if you don't have any haters, you're probably not doing anything remarkable in the world. My favorite quote regarding this phenomenon is from Zig Ziglar, and he once said, "Don't be distracted by criticism. For many people, the only taste of success they ever get is when they take a bite out of you." Keep going for your dreams. Don't stop. Don't let haters stop you. Don't try to get them to change their minds or get them to see a different point of view. The best thing that you can do is to keep doing what you're doing, keep doing it really well, keep being awesome, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be inspired. And before I finish the video, I do want to add a little bit to this. If you ever feel jealous of somebody else's success, if the situation is reversed and you're feeling that pang of jealousy, remember what I said about human nature. Instead of getting angry or annoyed at somebody else's success, take it as a signal. It's your soul's way of signaling to you something that you need to learn. Ask yourself, what is this person doing and doing well that you can learn from? And use it as of course, use it as a source of inspiration. So that's all I have for today. I know this video is a little bit different. I didn't have a script or a really detailed outline. This is something that I really felt compelled to talk about because I've seen it so many times in life. And so I wanted to make sure that I shared it with you, because this is honestly something that I really wish I had understood when I was younger, because it would have saved me a lot of anxiety and a lot of self-doubt. So I hope that you got a lot of value out of this video. I want to hear from you now. Have you ever started something new in your life and got unwelcome or unexpected criticism from friends and family? Or have you ever been unconsciously triggered by someone else's success? How did you react then, and how will you react now? I really want to hear from you. If you like this video, if you haven't already, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Of course, it really helps me out a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.